And there's some upsides and downsides. Like now that I'm no longer a man, my loneliness is no longer an epidemic. But on the other hand, when I read, people believe me. So, you know, it's up and down. But there are a lot of issues. One thing people are really mad about, they're mad about trans women in sports because they're worried that like men are transitioning into women in order to gain an edge in women's sports leagues. And like, obviously that isn't happening. But also, even if it was, when did we, as a country, start discouraging doing whatever it takes to win? You know, like people are like, oh, trans women have an unfair biological advantage. Yeah, it's called having that fucking dog in you. You know, people love Tom Brady. They're like, oh, Tom Brady, ultimate competitor. Tom Brady cut out carbs in order to win 7 Super Bowls. These girls cut their dicks off to get 3rd place in D3 track and field. Yeah, I do love sports. I had a friend, he asked me, he was like, hey Arjun, if you could press a button and someone somewhere in the world would die, but the 49ers would win a Super Bowl, would you press it? And I was like, yeah, obviously. Yeah. Oh, I press a button and someone somewhere in the world dies? That's what happens every time I select 2-day shipping on Amazon. They're just like, hey, the gloves are coming on Thursday, I need them Tuesday, someone's gotta go. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm just trying to do good. Like, overall, I think the transition for me is going pretty well. I recently flew out to LA. I met up with an old friend of mine. He's a great guy, but he's one of these guys who says man at the end of every sentence. And he's like, oh, I don't know about that, man, or oh, that's crazy, man, or take a left here, man. And eventually I got pretty tired of that, and I was just like, hey, you know, I transitioned, I would appreciate it if you didn't say man when you were speaking to me. And he paused, and he was like, well, I say man when I'm talking to everyone. So, do you want to be treated the same as everybody else, or do you want special treatment? And I was like, the second one. You know, do you want to be treated the same or better? Better. That's on the table. But the craziest thing is, actually, a week later, he called me on the phone, and he's like, you know, I've been thinking about it, and I still don't think it's fair for you to ask me not to say man. So we talk about it, but after like 30 minutes, I'm just like, look, what I asked for was for you to treat me more like a woman. And what you did is you seethed about it for a week, and then called me to debate me about whether or not you should show consideration for my feelings. Now you're treating me like a woman. Sometimes these trans women will say online, is they'll say to trans women, they'll be like, you know, it doesn't matter what surgeries you get, what you change your name to, what hormones you take. When you die and your body is buried, 100 years from now, an archaeologist will dig up your bones and know you're a man. And to that I say, who gives a shit what that fucking nerd thinks? Oh, you're looking at a dead pelvic bone? Why don't you get some live pussy? I was talking to one of my guy friends, and he said that he, like a lot of straight guys, he really struggles to open up emotionally because he's worried that if he's emotionally vulnerable, he'll be perceived as weak. And I was just like, hey, nobody thinks you're strong. You know, none of us are thinking that. Just say you're sad. We know. But yeah, I don't know. I can't say that it's all been going great for me. Like I actually recently got dubbed. I got dubbed by a polyamorous person. That was a tough one. Because when you get dubbed by a monogamous person, you're just like, oh, I guess I wasn't the one. But when you get dubbed by a poly person, you're like, I'm not the 8. I don't need to be a starter, but let me sit on the bench, okay? Somebody might get injured. internalized fat phobia, and that is way harder. So I've been taking yoga classes, but there's this thing the yoga instructors do that I truly hate, which they'll sprinkle in just random bits of Hinduism throughout the class. The thing is, just like growing up, I was like raised Hindu, so I treat it just like any other religion, and that is fake. So when somebody brings it up in the middle of a stretching class to me, that's like someone were like, okay, touch your toes. Now embrace Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Pedal harder, we can enter the kingdom of heaven! So I worked hard to be hot, alright? You guys have been great. Keep it going.